Today is a special one. Well, we think it's special because we're talking to each other. This is Kelly.
This is Miranda.
And we're going to do a special episode, kind of like our state of affairs, looking at hot topics and issues in the field of mental health and private practice. So, welcome.
We are so glad that you're here. If you are feeling great, we're glad you're here. If you're feeling kind of burnt out, we're glad you're here. If you're feeling tired, sad, depressed, anxious, elated, if you're looking for fun, hopefully we'll be with you on all the things because we feel like all of it is true right now in the work that we're doing. So we're excited about it. So today we're talking about um this conversation around AI and private practice and both the problems, the opportunities, the realities of what's happening with AI. Thought we could kind of like jump into that. And so one of the things that kind of started this conversation was, I don't know, a week or two ago, one of our clients said, "Hey, I'm getting more and more clients. Like I got 3 clients this week that said ChatGPT referred our practice to a client. That's how they found out about us. Like, wait, how did this happen? What did I do? How do I get more of it?" And so we started having this kind of conversation. But of course, this brings up the not so great parts of AI, the environmental aspects, is AI going to steal our jobs? Like there's so many aspects of where people are struggling with AI right now as therapists. And so we thought we could be maybe that space to talk about the things that are really scary and problematic, and also the things that are kind of cool and I think could have a positive impact.
It's hard to know even where to start because even this week we had someone message us that's in our business school and was saying like, I know you are very thoughtful. How do you feel about the use of AI and its environmental impact? For me, Miranda, that I can get in the weeds and feel almost paralyzed sometimes when I'm trying to not cause harm. I think about it from the use of my cell phone to energy consumption in the home, all of those kinds of things. And I loved your response to her. If you want to share, I thought it was really beautiful and like a true representation of how imperfect all of this process is.
Yeah, for sure. I guess maybe I should.
I can summarize it.
I think it's the other part, right? I mean, I can summarize it too, but it's that space of we live in a technological society at this point. And I don't know about y'all, but I really do think about what it would be like to let go of internet and technology and go and live on a dirt road. Like I grew up on a dirt road. I grew up where you would walk to your neighbor's house, and it might be a couple-mile walk. I grew up in a place where there was trees all surrounding me and orchards and growing up on an almond ranch or whatever. So it feels very strange to me to be living in a world where the idea of like Wi-Fi being off could feel like dangerous, that it could feel a little bit unsafe. In fact, I was in Guatemala traveling solo and I went to an event, ended up staying longer than I planned to and hadn't brought a charger with me. And I was walking back, like an hour walk to where I was staying, and my phone was going dead. And I was realizing that I was feeling a certain amount of anxiety
Yeah.
around that. And what was I going to do even if something did happen? Who am I going to call? I'm in Guatemala. But it was really interesting how tied we can feel to that. And at the same time, right, AI is here. Um, and it could be something that is a resource. And I think that for when we look at our world is really hurting. I think it's hurting more than ever before. As much as there's like beautiful things happening, there's a lot of hurt that's happening. And we actually don't have enough helpers and healers on the planet right now who are prepared to help the amount of people who need healing. And so when I see AI helping those healers to be able to maintain their focus on the work that they want to do, by helping them with a marketing message or helping them with some SEO or helping with people navigating this very complex piece of, hey, I'm in crisis, I'm a traumatized person, and I really want to find a great therapist. And the idea of going and researching on Google just makes me feel shut down. To have somebody that they could say, hey, I'm looking for this. This is what I'm struggling with. Can you help me find a therapist that has space and availability and that really gets great outcomes, and that ChatGPT can be the person that can scour those websites. And even if it's just that they put it down to the top 3, right? Even when you look at, like, for Psychology Today, there's sometimes 20 pages of Psychology Today listings. Like, it's a lot for people to navigate through. And so when it can make it easier on the client and then easier on the therapist so that they can get together, like, I love that. Even within the impact of, hey, this takes some energy. Like, it is impactful.
Yeah, I do wonder if, like, moving forward, and I have not researched this, so I'm speaking just from my heart, that there will be more opportunities to offset or shift that environmental impact, and I'm all for it. And if it means that, okay, someone is more likely to put themselves out there and to open their doors to their practice, and if it helps them a little bit along the way, that's the thing that we're weighing here. I also am very aware, like, some other downsides of, like, I have friends that work in medical spaces, people that comment on the ethics of AI. If we're in a racist system, AI is built on that system. And so, like, you hear about AI software for treatment or like diagnosis, and then it's really based on data for just white men or something like that. And it's missing symptoms or things like that. And other ethnicities, and so there are some, like, ongoing issues here of, like, it's not perfect at all. So I think it's really understanding how much it really can do for you. What are the boundaries of that, to use it in an ethical way and in a way that it still is aligned with who you are, so that we're not getting so far out of the weeds that we just hand over our power and our minds to AI, be like, here, you take over my job. We don't want that.
Well, and they have a couple of things. So one is like the AI chat, and there are therapists that are out there using it, and some of them are really problematic. They don't really know what to do when somebody's suicidal. They don't understand the nuance of things.
Yeah.
And I definitely 100% say no AI for chatbots for your practice, y'all. Like, we're not there yet. I don't know if we will be there. I don't know if I'll like it even if we got there. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's like a hard pass. But there's this other aspect that just flew right out of my brain, Kelly.
Maybe you could
Which
ask.
is like, I could ask AI.
I'll say, like, on the assessment piece, there are some things that are being tested that AI can do for, like, basic assessment and things like that. But AI will not replace attunement. AI will not replace somatics. I will not, so, like, when people get really fearful of, oh, is this gonna upend mental health? I think instead of saying, like, AI is going to take it away, I think it's a call for us to step more into our truth and our knowing of, like, are we different? We have to be differentiated, and I'm not afraid of AI. Like, that thing it can't be attuned to the physicality and all of the nuance of relationship building in this way. And so we have to be more assertive in our education with people. I was talking with a friend the other day. She's having relationship issues. And I was like, well, what do you think about therapy? And she's like, I'm open to it, but my boyfriend is more of a ChatGPT therapy kind of person. She's like, and it's just not getting anywhere. Some people are more aware of, like, the value of what we do over, like, going to a computer. That said, maybe the computer gives them that first access point, like we're discovering, like, with our clients, they're going to chat GPT, and then it's making some recommendations for therapists. Like, cool, that can improve some accessibility, but it's not going
I
to
think
replace.
no, and I think if ChatGPT is replacing what you do in the therapy room, it's time to level up, y'all.
Yeah.
If what you've been taught, and there's no shade around this, but if what you've been taught is to give some a regimented ABCD Here's what you do, fill out this worksheet, and then come back and report to me. Yeah, ChatGPT can do that. But if what you've been taught is to really like dive deep with people to figure out like what are the things that aren't being said? What are the pieces that aren't being shared? Like what are the somatic, as Kelly was mentioning, what are the somatic pieces? What are the relational aspects that ChatGPT doesn't really know what to do with? Hey, here's what my partner says and here's what I say. And like we're having an argument. Can you help us unpack that? Like ChatGPT does not know what to do with that, y'all. Like there's
It
absolutely
can
no
pretend
way.
to act like it does though. Like it can try and it will try. And it like
Yeah.
I saw another coach recently post about, some they tested with ChatGPT a conversation and ChatGPT was like so affirming and just never like it just kept saying you go even though the person's talking about like I'm going to get that person back or like I didn't they broke up with me and I want revenge. And the chat GPT is like, I've been trained to be affirming of you. Yes, you should do that. And so, but
Well, I mean that actually that right now, like I'm just getting this thing of somebody who's trained in like power and control, somebody who's more on the narcissism scale, that like there's a lot of places where I could imagine that being really dangerous and damaging. And it's an interesting space. Like I used ChatGPT. I was having a conversation, somebody had posted something about asking ChatGPT, hey, based on what you know about me, what are some things that I might not understand or realize about myself and my own patterns? And I thought, well, I'm using ChatGPT to like help a lot of different therapists to kind of like navigate through things. So it probably doesn't really know who I am. So, but let me just see what happens. And there was actually some really great like feedback. And I was like, well, they're like, well, you're often focused on helping other people. Are you letting people in? And there was some pieces that have been
yeah.
patterns that I've been unpacking for a while. And I was like, look at you go, ChatGPT. And as I dove into it and I was talking to it about dating and such, it was giving me recommendations to go to a men's group. Like, well, ChatGPT, I am a woman. So, like,
You're
what am I
going
supposed to
outside
do?
the
I go to
men's
the
group.
men's. Well, I said something about, like, well, what should I like sit outside the door with like brownies outside? They're like, you're so funny. That's a great idea. If you ever do that experiment, let me know. So it's just this really funny conversation. And how wild, right? The idea to like be going back and forth. But back to, I think, us as therapists, I think this space of understanding that what we do is different than what ChatGPT does. So can we not only own that and understand that, but can we communicate that
Mm,
in our marketing? Can we
mhm.
communicate that on our website? And I think this is one of the pieces why a lot of our clients are getting more chat. Our clients in particular in our business school are already getting chat GPT referrals, even though they didn't do anything purposeful to like get on the directory or whatever. But chat GPT is searching sort of more like how a human would search based on outcomes, based on reviews, based on the specificity of the niches.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been teaching our clients to do for, over 10 years is how do we really communicate like what we do, how we work, how do you claim your brilliance and make it findable to a client who's searching. So when you do those things, it really creates such an opportunity and
Mhm.
such an ease for marketing.
Yeah, I mean, Google is your top search engine. Then after that is YouTube. And I think ChatGPT is rising in the ranks here. And they kind of all work together actually in a lot of the same way, because ChatGPT is searching, as you said, like a human would. And so if you've been working on being visible in the online world, it's going to benefit you for people that are searching through ChatGPT. So I think like there is that aspect of, okay, what does AI mean for delivery of services and replacing therapy? But also like there's some really positive, good things happening for the clinician, like supporting a clinician in their practice. And I think that's where we get excited in terms of we use brain spotting, right, for our clients to get unstuck. And then sometimes it's also just a tool that someone needs. Like the technology doesn't compute or, like there's just a better tool and that's where some of the AI is coming in to support clinicians to move past blocks around documentation, around marketing kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we've been teaching our clients for a long time, a process for creating marketing messages for each of their specialty pages or niche pages. And the amount of like block that a lot of people have is pretty significant to actually writing that up. And so in the past, we've had to have people do brain spotting during like our quarterly sprints. People would be posting things and I would be writing it for them to help them kind of break through that internal barrier. And especially for clients that are multilingual, that space of writing a marketing message in multiple languages and in a language that maybe isn't their native language can bring up a lot of anxiety and old trauma. And so now we have a custom GPT as part of the business school where it's still someone really diving into filling out this worksheet, but now they can fill out the worksheet and put it into ChatGPT and get a really great rough draft, if not a final draft, like right out of the gate, because we've trained ChatGPT on how to write good marketing messages. Because what you get out of the gate from ChatGPT is not really great, not really client centered, not necessarily SEO focused and findable. It won't actually give you something that it would like to look at, which is an interesting piece. But we've figured out how to kind of train the system. And so it's really like limiting the anxiety time, the amount of time that somebody might build up the idea of like, oh my gosh, I have to write this message and what have I done? And I don't know, and maybe it won't look good, to be able to like put the information in and get something out and then to be able to just give it feedback and say, here's the part that doesn't feel quite right, and then get some response back. Versus we've had clients over the years that have hired really well-meaning copywriters, and we've read some worst marketing messages from copywriters over the years, really well-meaning copywriters, but they're writing like they don't understand what we do as therapists most of the time. And so it just becomes a lot of bullet points and things that aren't really like engaging and feeling very corporate sometimes. And it's just really messy. So it's been really fun to see people be able to get things out. And the faster they get things out, the faster they can connect with clients.
But I think what you said is very important, that the clinician is able to say, this doesn't feel right. Hey, that's not
Yeah.
aligned. You still have to have the knowledge as the clinician as to what makes a good marketing message. So it's not like you don't hand all the keys over to ChatGPT. You help it fill in some of the blanks, so to speak. I don't know if that's the right metaphor, but that you have to have that ability to know like that is me, that's true, that's a great accessible authentic message, right? And if it's not, be able to keep refining it, because sometimes people, what they find, they get frustrated with using Chat GPT because they don't know how to talk to it. They don't know, and they just take whatever it gives them, and they don't edit it. They don't like tweak it. And so we've been like training it for a long time of like how to write these messages. And you as the clinician are still the expert and you're still refining from. I think that I just want to point that out in what you're saying.
No, I think that's the pieces. A lot of times, I think there are people who might be listening who'd say, oh my gosh, I just need that custom GPT. And then that would like be the magical thing that, we'll get some email saying, can I just get the custom GPT? Can I just pay you for that? Not realizing that before the person ever got to that point, they have delved deep into what are my strengths. They have done strength survey. They have done outcomes conversations with clients and gotten that feedback. They've sat in meditation to really dive into how they really work and being really honest about what feels good and what doesn't feel good. They have really identified a particular ideal client and really got into their experience and wrote a journal from their perspective. Like that's all the stuff that's going into
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT. Not just, can you write me a marketing message? I need clients who are depressed. That's not going to get you there.
Yeah.
And how they may describe you and what you do may not actually be accurate. Because this is the other part too that I think is important, is that our code of ethics doesn't just say that, we need to do good work, but it says that we need to market effectively. It means that we have to be telling the truth in our marketing. And if we don't understand what we do as therapists, how can we tell the truth? How can you tell the truth when you don't know the truth?
I don't know. I don't think you can.
I agree. I agree. And I think how many of you, if you were just to like, if it's safe to do so, if you were just to like take a moment, kind of close your eyes and take a deep breath. And I said, what is special and unique about how you do therapy? How many of you feel your stomach drop? Does have something where you say, oh, you know what's magic about what I do is this.
Mm. It's a good one to sit on for a little bit, and you don't have to ask ChatGPT for its feedback. It comes from an internal knowing, right? Like that's so important. I think some other aspects of AI we've been talking about are in the documentation realm. Melissa Hall from QA Prep has done some trainings with us on that and within our business school as well. There's a lot happening within documentation, which is the most dreaded part for a lot of therapists and using AI there. We've also seen it with helping with denied claims and insurance billing stuff.
Yeah, I will say the documentation, I mean, whatever we say about documentation today, it will be different tomorrow
Mm,
in terms of the particular programs that are out there. But one of the ones that I really like that's out there is it specifically does the documentation notes and the treatment plans just based on what you say about the session as opposed to recording the entire session.
I love that.
And I think one of the questions that we need to be really asking and understanding is when we're recording the sessions, what happens to the recordings? And a lot of them say we don't save the recordings. And you go, oh, that's awesome. It's gone. Do you save the transcripts? Oh, no, we save the transcripts. Okay, wait, what are we doing here? What is happening with these transcripts? Can we really make sure that we understand what is happening with all that data?
My heart rate just for like is just up a little bit because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, even if it doesn't save, it's training the AI, and then eventually these companies will be bought by who, and that information will be used for what? It's just, yeah.
Those terms of service, who is this company owned by? How are they making their money? What are they telling you they can do in the future? I got approved to speak at national organization to speak for them. And when I read the terms of service, it was absolutely wild because it was the way it was worded. I know what it was trying to do, but in the world of AI, it said it could use my video, my likeness, and my voice for anything in the future in any way, shape, or form, and anyone who purchased them could use that. So now that like we've done the thing where we could there's no video out there of us that people can make fake videos of us doing podcasts. Like there's enough audio of us that people can take those audio files in and put it into AI and create fake audio and fake podcasts. Like it's a wild world that we're living in. And so I felt really strongly like I had to like message them. They were very lovely about responding so that I could make a custom thing and say yes to this, but you can't use it for anything regarding, you know, AI beyond just cutting the videos to be able to advertise it. Like, you know, this other stuff is not okay. So it's an interesting place that we live in to like navigate that. So I do like the companies where you're able to just do an auditory one. And I tested one of them in particular, and it was really fun. I specifically said, hey, I did brain spotting, but I don't want to call it brain spotting because the insurance doesn't always like that. So can you describe that intervention in a different way? And it was able to navigate that really easily. So I thought that was a really fun dynamic. I think it's also really interesting, Kelly had touched on that people are using AI to fight the insurance reimbursements. So whether you're the clinician or you're a patient, to be able to understand your policy so that you can maybe download your policy documents, upload them to ChatGPT and have them make sense of what's in there because it is, again, the system is working as intended, that people feel overwhelmed by a broken system and they don't know how to navigate through that process when something is declined.
An art of distraction. And then we end up with clinicians who are in contracts that they can't terminate from for over a year. And clawbacks can continue to happen for years and years beyond that. Yeah. So we like it in terms of empowering the clinician with understanding if something doesn't make sense to you in a contract or software that you're using, it can kind of help sometimes with that.
That could be a kind of, I've used that a few times too, where I've gotten a contract or terms of service, and now I will put that into ChatGPT and say, is there anything I should be concerned about in this terms of service? Is there anything that you feel like it is far reaching? And so often I've done that when I've already read through it and I have a sense that I feel like something is far reaching, but it's kind of fun to almost get like, you're getting a second opinion. And ChatGPT says, hey, here are the language. And I'm like, yeah, I'm right on it. Like ChatGPT agrees with me. It must be right. Of course, it's just a little bit of a gut check at this point. And I think we need to all be learning how to read contracts with these new technologies, in mind. Things are shifting, at this point, but it is a process. So I think it's really easy sometimes for us to be all or nothing regarding new technology. Like, I remember the fact that I had a website back in the day, people were shook. Like, people were offended. People thought it was unethical to have a website. Like, that is illegal. That's against the camp code of ethics. Like, you can't do that. And now it is standard practice to have a website, right? I'm sure there was a point when listing yourself in the yellow pages, some of you don't even know what the yellow pages are, was considered, like, oh, why would you do that? People should just know who you are and refer to you. That's how this works. It's this like secret society kind of scenario. So we're in this midst of this shift and this change. So can we find the things that really work for us within it, that help support us so that we can do what we do best, which is heal people, help people heal themselves, help people reconnect. And if we're focused in that area, I think there really can be some magical pieces for us.
I think so too. I feel way more balanced about it than I did originally. Like, I think sometimes, there's anxiety or trepidation around things I don't know or don't understand. And I also proceed with caution and my own like intuition and knowing. And I hold my ethics and I really look at where is the power? Am I holding my own power or do I give it over to people or in this case, technology? And so, I think if it can help you, it's important to just kind of understand how to navigate it in a way that is ethical. And like you said, like really checking in with yourself. Do I want my voice to be able to be used for anything? And no, I don't. And so speaking up for that, because I do think a lot of companies are just boilerplating and doing what attorneys tell them and not really considering the ramifications. And we're agreeing to things, not knowing the ramifications down the road. So, well, that's all that about AI for now.
Until next time, if y'all want some support in creating a private practice that really works for you, that is really client-centered and that uses AI in just the ways that make sense for you and your clients, check out our Business School for Therapists. We dive in and give you opportunities and options about how to use AI ethically throughout your practice and what the alternatives are if you don't want to use it at all.
Until next time.